Good morning to everybody and welcome to Timeout. My name is Jack Vint, and this morning I just want to take time. As you can see, I am actually doing this segment in the afternoon. I was in a similar spot last week in the morning and it was very cold, but I wanted you to see what it looked like. It looks quite spectacular in the afternoon, and I just thought I drove all the way out here because I really wanted to just say that you guys deserve it, you guys that support me on Timeout, you Timeouters, and so I came all the way here. So I hope you enjoy the scenery, and while we're talking about that, I want to also just say thank you very much to all the people that commented. I can't mention maybe everyone, but thank you Megan and Debbie for your comments, and Annika, and thank you to June Moon, who is and her husband, who was with my wife and I, Shani, in Alberton many years ago, and they moved to Texas in America. And thank you, June, and to Bridget Masangu, who said she wanted to be a lawyer. But you know, Bridget's an active member, very talented woman in Parliament, and she's really representing us there, and she's doing a brilliant job. Thank you, Bridget, for your contribution. And to the regulars like Wayne and Clive and Grant and everyone else, thank you. I read all your comments, and when I do, it makes me feel connected with everyone. So don't stop commenting and sharing. You don't always have to agree with me. Just let me know how you're thinking. I just want to engage, and I want to just touch sides with those that are watching Timeout. Now, I thought I would start this morning with a funny story, and this is a true story. And because I was there, I always use myself because then I can't get into trouble with these true stories. Now, it's really like a blooper about one of the timeouters. I normally do timeout on my own, and it works out well and it's quick. But I think 2 weeks ago, when I was sharing is one candle better than, or two candles better than one, about your candle, I thought I'd get up early in the morning, go to a reserve, and it was very cold that morning, extremely cold, and I thought I'd set up somewhere where I thought the sun would come up and it would make a great shot. And it was about 1.5 kilometers walk, and when I got there, it didn't work out quite, so I set up on a big sewage pipe that goes over a large valley. It's an amazing scene. You can only see the tip of the sewage pipe, but I was standing on the sewage pipe with a concrete slab on it, and I was ready to shoot the shot. And then all the drama started, because I had taken with me that morning a red balloon and put it in my pocket because I wanted to blow it up, and I wanted to illustrate something about, have you ever had somebody pop your balloon? And so I thought I'd take the balloon and I'd take a pin from my wife's cushion, and I put it in my jacket, and I pinned it there so I didn't forget it, and I put the balloon in my pocket. And so when I got there and I'd set my camera up, I was ready, I realized that I didn't know where to put this balloon once I'd blown it up. It was a big balloon, and I didn't bring anything to where to put it. So I just hooked this balloon on my stand, and I said, well, I can take it off, take my pin out, pop it, and then I can carry on, because I only needed this balloon like in the middle of the segment of the chat I was going to have. And so I thought, all right, everything is set up. I hooked this balloon on the stand, and then the problem started. A wind came up, it took this balloon, and it flew right over my head, and it went right down the ravine underneath the sewage pipe. And I stood there looking in dismay, because I thought this balloon is going to be popped. There's a lot of thorny things around, but to my dismay, right at the bottom there was my red balloon. So I had to walk all the way down this ravine. Now I'm trying to beat the sunset, or rather the sunrise. Sorry. And so I retrieve this balloon miraculously, climb all the way up. Now I'm laughing because I'm on my own there, and it's funny, and I'm feeling like an idiot. So I climb all the way up, and I get ready again. I say, okay, now I need to somehow find a better way to secure this balloon, but there's no other spot. So I just want to put this balloon a little bit harder into this groove on my stand, but I have to do it not too hard, because I have to retrieve it in one action with a pin and pop it, otherwise it won't look authentic. And then as I look down, I can't see my pin. And the pin had fallen out with all this drama. And now it's a silver pin, and it's a silver concrete slab. And I haven't got my glasses on, so you would never find it, because it blends in. But I eventually gave up because maybe I'd lost it in the ravine. I didn't even know. So I had no pin. So I thought, well, I have to pop this balloon. And there's a lot of thorn trees in the reserve where I went to with big thorns. And I thought I'll get one of these things that'll pop at one shot. But they were nowhere near me. I'd have to go walk to find them. So eventually, out of desperation, one of the trees had one of ththese devil thorns, hooks. They had a small little hook, a tree with a small little, almost like a devil hook. And I just picked a piece of twig with a couple of them. I thought that'll have to do. But those thorns are deadly. As I broke the branch, it got me in my finger. And it was painful because it was cold. And I felt like throwing that twig away, stepping on it. But I needed it, so I had it in my hand. And if you watch the talk, you'll see I had a twig in my hand, which was actually that thorn twig. And so I go all the way back to where the balloon is. Now I'm ready, and as I press the button to start, and I say good morning, a wind picks up, and that balloon takes off like a kite, and the whole stand is shaking, and the camera like this. It looked like it was an alcoholic coming off a 3-week alcohol ban. So I took the balloon off the stand. I said, no, this thing's going to vibrate so much, you won't see the picture. So now I'm thinking, what can I do? I've got a stick in my one hand, and I want to use my hands to illustrate. So I'm going to put the balloon between my legs. I want to start again, but now I'm laughing because I'm feeling so uncomfortable because I've got this balloon between my legs, and it's not natural. I thought, if anybody sees me now having this red balloon between my legs, they're going to think I'm a pervert. So I said, no, it can't be. I had to take this balloon out. And eventually the wind died, and I hung it up again, and I carried on. And look, it was very funny. I had to be there. So I'm just trying to share with you, just to make you laugh at my expense this morning at Timeout. Now, as I share this morning with you, I want to share something that happened to me long ago when I was still a young child. I remember that when I went to movies, I had to always walk there and back. I had two things about me. I had a very vivid imagination, and I used to talk to myself. I have to give you this confession. Okay, don't laugh too much, because I can laugh, but you're not supposed to laugh. Now, so I used to imagine, if I was watching a Western, that I was the hero, and I really played the whole thing out in my mind, and then I would talk to myself. And I guess it was because I was the last of 7 children, and I often was on my own, and I had to just entertain myself. And but I found that as I grew into high school, I also walked to school. It was about 1 kilometer or 2 on my own. I still spoke to myself, and many times I used to answer myself. And I thought, I'm not telling anybody about this, Jack, because they are going to think that you're crazy. So it was my secret for a long time that I spoke to myself oftentimes. And so as I grew older, I realized something that I'd learned out of that experience. I'd realized that I had normed myself in an area that was really going to help me as a person. And I would like to just share that with you this morning, if I may, to encourage you. And when I spoke to myself and answered myself, I realized I was training myself in 3 areas that were going to be vital for me as an adult. And the first one is that the first person I need to love is myself. Now, I know it sounds vain because, but the greatest commandment is that we need to love others like ourselves. If we can't love ourselves, we will find it very difficult to love other people. Now, when I wake up in the morning, and this is now when I'm an adult, I often say, good morning, God, good morning, Jack. And then I say good morning to my wife, because if I can't get through the first 2 people that I live with, I'm not going to be able to be courteous with my wife. And I have often said to her, in the beginning she didn't know the answer, but it's a joke. I said, when I woke up, I said, did you get the number of the bus? And she said, what bus? I said, the one that hit me last night, because that's how I feel when I wake up sometimes. Now, you can say that about yourself, but I want to say you can't say it about your wife or your spouse unless you've got medical insurance. So please don't say that Jack on Timeout said that. I will deny everything, because I wasn't saying it about your spouse. I was saying it about you. So I would say that. Now, the reason why I would say that is because I've learned to be able to joke with myself. What speaking to myself did for many years was help me to accept myself and to really laugh at myself. I often say to God, Lord, I feel like a real idiot. And then I just say to myself, but just remember, Jack, you are God's idiot. You're not just anybody's idiot. Then I feel much better. So the first person I need to learn to love is myself. That's the first person we need to love. The reason so that we can love other people. The second thing that I've learned through all this is that the first person I need to forgive is myself. I don't know about you, but sometimes it's difficult to forgive ourselves. We are very hard on ourselves. But the problem with that is if we cannot forgive ourselves because we said the wrong thing, we made a mistake, we lost our temper, or we were impulsive. If we can't forgive ourselves, it's very difficult to forgive other people. And so the first person I need to learn to forgive is myself. And then the last one would be, Jack, the first person you need to believe in, and I know it sounds vague, but it's not, is yourself. I had a spiritual mentor, Pastor Trevor Yoko, a wonderful man. And he had a saying, if it doesn't work at home, don't export it. And what he was basically saying is, you need to practice what you preach. If you can't believe in yourself, the chances are you will not believe in other people. And when I don't believe in other people and I'm in a relationship with them, they know it instantly. So the first person, Jack, you need to believe in is yourself. So I want to encourage you, talk to yourself. I give you a license. Just do it privately that nobody thinks you're cuckoo. And say to yourself, the first person I need to love is me. The first person I need to forgive is me. And the first person I need to believe in is me. Because that may make all the difference in my life. I want to leave that with you. My mother also told me many years ago that caring, if you care, you share. So if you care, share. And say to somebody that needs encouragement, send them this clip and say there's a crazy guy on Timeout. When they look at me as a crazy guy, they will feel much better. It's just psychology. But share it with somebody that needs encouragement. I really appreciate your comments. I appreciate the time that you take. God bless you, and I'll see you next week.
You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance.